Hello, 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 and welcome to Get It Off Your Chest, the funny side of breast cancer. We're recording in Tissy Towers today, as always, and my name is Estelle Ma, and I'm joined with my lovely podcast partner, as always, and she's actually come this week, because as you all know, last time she wasn't with me, but she's deigned with us with her presence today.
Yeah.
And who
I
is
had a better offer,
What?
Estelle. What can I say?
Oh, for the boys and girls out there, what's your name in case
Oh,
they
my
don't?
name.
Oh,
My
yeah.
name is Andrea Moulding.
Andrew Moulding. Andrew
Moulding.
Moulding.
Yeah. You can't jazz that name up, I'll tell you.
I know, yeah. I can't jazz mine up either. So how are you? You fine? You okay?
Yes, I've just had a very, very, very busy weekend down in Portsmouth where I went to college.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yes, been down in the sea. Well, not in the sea, but on the seafront. I've been out with all my mates, drank loads of cocktails. Yeah, I've had a really, really good weekend. So I'm
Well,
still
where was my
recovering.
invite?
Well, like I say, I had a better offer. But I have been up to see you because for the boys and girls at home, Estelle is a massively famous author, aren't you?
Oh, well, I'm hardly massively famous, but yeah. No, I've just released my fourth book, and the lovely Andrea came up for my book launch, my book signing, and we did a Q&A, and she, yeah, you held yourself together. Well, I thought you held yourself together very, very well, seeing as there was well over 100 people there. We
Yeah.
thought there would only be like, me, you, Pete, and Paddy, and that'd be it.
Yeah, you
But
said,
yeah,
"Oh, come up and do the Q&A." I thought there'd be about 10 people there. It was absolutely bloody packed. There's like 100 people there. It was all very professional and a microphone and that. It was a right laugh actually, but I had to go to the toilets and splash my face in water and calm myself down. Gave myself a right talking to. And then I was fine. I really, really enjoyed it, to be honest. It was a right laugh, wasn't it?
well, nobody, do you know what? I've told a few people how nervous you said you were, and no one guessed at all. You're just so professional,
I'm
honestly.
smooth, baby. I'm smooth.
I know.
Yeah,
Well, you've been on BBC Radio twice now, haven't you? Is that
I
what it
have.
is?
I have. Yeah, I got called at 7 o'clock in the morning and I was in bed. And the breakfast show phoned me because of Antrazol to come out as a preventative breast cancer drug.
Yeah.
And they wanted someone from the community to give them you know, their two penneth worth. And this woman called me and I didn't recognise the number. I was like, "Who are you? What time is
The BB who?
you want me to do what?" I thought she was trying to sell me something. Anyway, then when I realised it was the BBC, I became all professional. It would be my absolute honour. What time? So then
Now, go and brush your teeth, you skank.
well, luckily, I was on radio and not the TV. So now I think I've caught up with you now on BBC Radio.
Oh, you have. Oh, you've
Podcast.
well overtook me with all your radio shows here, there, and everywhere. So
Yeah.
well done. But
Well,
yeah, so obviously
domination.
that's why you were so cool, calm, and collected with that microphone in your
Yeah.
hand in front of all the scary scousers, giving you loads of
Yeah.
jip for being a southerner.
Giving me loads of abuse for being a southerner.
I have to say, boys and girls, most of the abuse came from me.
Yeah, it did actually.
So, talking about books, we do have a mutual friend who is releasing their book tomorrow. But it'll actually, by the time you've listened to this, listeners, it will already be out there. It's available on Amazon. It's called Check It Out Now, and it's by Bob Stone. And we're really happy to promote this, and Andrew's going to tell us why.
Bob is fantastic, and he's a massive supporter of us and also of breast cancer and all cancers, really. And he set himself a target for Breast Cancer Month to write a book. So that's from kind of the beginning to write a whole book. And he wrote a story himself, but he also asked for contributions from people who'd been touched by cancer, not just breast cancer. And so myself and Estella in there. I was the last person to give my contribution in. Everybody else had. He was chasing me at the last minute.
So that's because you were too busy on BBC Radio, weren't you?
That's right, darling. I was coming back from LA and I said, "Bob, I had to go down to McDonald's at 6 o'clock in the morning and knock out 1,000 words.
As you do.
Yeah.
Well, that guy's just done about 70,000 words, wasn't it? In
Yeah.
30 days. I mean, it was quite incredible, actually. I've read it already. It is a brilliant story. There's a bit of Strictly Come Dancing. There's a hint of that about it. And yeah, and it's got a nice ending, and there's just lots of current references in it, which is nice. But as Sandria's just said, there's a few contributions at the back, all from cancer survivors, including us and my husband. He's even put his 2p worth in. So yeah, so check it out now. Check it out now.
By the time you listen to this, it'll be an Amazon #1 bestseller.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. So in other news, today's guest is Chloe Richards. I don't know if you recall, a few shows ago, I was talking about doing an ice bath where I sat in it for about 4 weeks. I didn't actually, it was only 3 minutes, but I met this lovely young lady and we invited her onto the show. So here she is.
Hey, hello, Chloe. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Chloe. Welcome to the show. You all right?
Thank you. Yeah, good. Good day today. Kids have behaved, you know.
Can I ask you, how did you find the ice experience with Estelle?
Oh, I loved it. I've been doing it for nearly over a year now.
Have you?
But I'd never done the thing that Estelle did, the tub. So I'd always been into like a lake or a waterfall or a river.
Well, swimming.
Never actually been in the ice bath.
So that was the first time you did the ice bath?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realise that. I thought you had done it before.
Yeah, I've done cold water dipping. We've been down to is like 2 degrees where we were like smashing ice off the top of a lake. So yeah, that was pretty cold.
I bet.
It was good though. I found it really nice because people get quite emotional when they get together and they talk about it. I was talking to Angela afterwards, who's run the thing. She was like, nobody like really sort of broke down, and that's what she expects because people sort of all their emotions come to the surface. She's like, why was that? And I just felt that it was a really, you know, because we'd all been through our experiences, and you know, you've been through the tears and the crying and the trauma, so it just actually felt really nice to be together.
I felt wonderful after it. But you're right. I didn't feel the need to cry. Or maybe she thought that it would give us a moment of reflection. I do look back on that time, but I don't sit there and whinge about it. I just look back and go, well, that's behind me. So we're going to start the show. Tell us about your cancer. And we'd love it if you could, because you've got a really interesting story about how you were diagnosed.
So I was at the GP for a bit of a kind of 40 plus MOT, and it was almost an afterthought. I said to the GP, well, I've got this like pain that I've had in my right breast for a long time. And she was like testing, I thought I was perimenopausal, so she was testing hormone levels and sending me off for bloods. And she said, oh, I'll examine you. And she was like, well, I'm not sure, so I'm going to send you to the breast care centre at Macclesfield. And so I was like horrified, you know, like, oh my God, panicking. And then she said, no, look, I'm not an expert. I'd rather send 200 women there and no one comes back than send no women and, you know, somebody ends up with breast cancer. So I went along and went for my mammogram, which was the first mammogram I'd had, which was just, that machine is designed by a man. Had 100%.
It is
someone who squashes lemons for a living. Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez, it's brutal. And then after the mammogram, they said, oh, we'll go back and see the consultant. And the consultant said, well, you know, we've had a look and blah, blah, blah. And like, I'd just been doing loads of exercise. And she said, sometimes you pull a muscle in your chest and it can be quite deep down and take a long time to heal. So cue me sitting there thinking, oh my God, you know, this is the NHS. I've wasted all their time. I'm really, really embarrassed. You know, I've gone to the breast care centre for a pulled muscle. She said, but we just would like to do an ultrasound on you while you're here, because there's something we spotted. So they whisked me off to the ultrasound and they're like, while you're here, we're going to do a biopsy. We've seen something on your left side. On the Friday morning, I got a call saying, oh, they want to see you first thing next Monday. And they said I had high-grade DCIS, which is, for listeners who don't know, it's cancer in the milk ducts of your breast. And they said it's high grade and it's really small, but we need to remove it. 2 weeks later, get the results, and they said, well, we haven't got everything. So, and they explained that was a possibility. So then I had to go in again. Right, okay, 2 weeks later, well, still not got any clear margins. So your next choice is a mastectomy. And that's when I had the mastectomy and the DEP. And you've had that, haven't you, Andrea? The DEP reconstruction
Yes,
in your
I
stomach.
have.
So my diagnosis was on the 10th of June. And on the 13th of September, they'd removed my lymph nodes along the way. And so kind of 5, 6, 7 operations later, I was just lying there thinking, what has happened in the last 3 months?
It's a whirlwind, isn't it? It's an absolute whirlwind. You just don't realise.
Can I just ask though, you went in over your right boob, they found the problem in your left boob. When they told you that this lump was there, could you feel it?
No, absolutely no symptoms.
The fact that you couldn't feel it, it just goes to prove that having those MOTs, those mammograms, they're really, really important, because, you know, you are a typical example of having cancer and just not being aware of it at all, having no symptoms whatsoever. So they are really, really important, these health checks, because it's not just about, some people just go and they think, well, or some people don't go. They think, well, there's nothing wrong with me, so we don't need to go. I'll go to the doctors, but they're not. They're really important. That's why they call you. Well, you're still here to tell your tale, which is a good thing. And you're still sitting in ice baths surrounded by, I think it was Asda's ice, Asda's own ice.
Was it Asda's ice? It wasn't from a glacier on a fjord.
No, it was
nothing
about
so glamorous.
60 bags of Asda's ice. Last time I saw that much ice, it was in a Bailey's. But anyway. The Christmas season is upon us. I'm starting to obsess about Baileys. Why don't we drink Baileys in June? No one ever does.
Well, maybe I do, Estelle.
Oh God, yeah, well, you would. You're a lush.
My grandmother used to make her own Baileys out of
Baileys.
Yeah, she used to make it out of whiskey and condensed milk. Yeah, my grandma, that generation brought up in the 30s and 40s when it was like having gin on your cornflakes. They drank tons.
I don't know anyone's nan who had gin on their cornflakes. Your nan must have been a right lush. Making it out. Everyone was using condensed milk to put on the bloody tinned pineapple. Your nan's throwing it in whiskey. What a
I like her style.
She was cool. She was cool. You're no longer with us, but she was cool.
I've got a can of Tip Top in the fridge. I wonder if that'll work as well.
I reckon it will. Give it a go.
Give it a go. Tip Top, remember that? Angel's Delight.
I like a bit of Angel's Delight, I have to say.
Oh God,
I've been trying to do stuff with, I went through my vegan stage. You know, when you get
when was that? On Tuesday?
It didn't last that long. It lasted about one dinner, and then I just realised I couldn't be bothered with it. But I
realised I don't like vegetables.
I made mousse out of, what's it called? What do you make hummus out of?
Chickpeas.
Chickpeas. If you get the water, you can froth it up and make chocolate mousse with it.
Oh, would you be bothered? No.
Well, this is my reason I couldn't be bothered to be vegan.
No, I'll go to Mark. So we were just wanting to go over some of your stories. What's all this about you doing an Austin Powers impression?
So my kids, they weren't little, but they were old enough to know what was going on, and I was just trying. I don't know. I was being a bit of a knob. I was trying to make it light-hearted. So they'd been through the operations, and then now it was the big operation, and we were on a walk, and we'd been watching Austin Powers, and I was like, oh, you know, it'll be cool. I'll get a fake boob. I could get a gun in it, you know, like the lady off Austin Powers, and I can get it out. Like the kids are horrified. What do you mean you get your boob out? And then
a parents' evening.
Yeah, don't mess with me anymore.
Do kids start getting A's at school, did they?
That's it. See all the teachers all lined up going, hey, little Johnny's absolutely marvellous. Put your tits away. So go on, Mark, sorry.
But yeah, he was my daughter was a bit older, but my son was when, you know, he thinks about things, and he'd obviously been thinking about it, and it was like, how will it work? It's like, how, and having a gun, and he's really like trying to think about how the practicalities of how you would get a gun in your boob. And it took a lot of backtracking and explaining that was just mummy being a bit of a dick. So
did he not give you the did he give you the sly side glance when you come out of the hospital?
Yeah, he was a bit like, I need to investigate this really properly. So
I told my kids I was getting a new plastic boob, probably. And one of mine said, I said, and you can get it flesh coloured. She said, can you get a blue one? Can you get a red one? So she wanted all these different colours. I'd like a multicolored one, actually. That'd be quite cool.
Yeah. They're missing a trick, aren't they?
They are. There's another thing for our store.
What's that?
Our department store.
Different coloured prosthetics.
Yes. Multicolored ones.
Oh, have you seen the knitted ones you can get? They're
awesome. Well, they're called knitted knockers. I think they need a shout out.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? Knitted knockers. I've seen them in the breast clinic, and they're just cool. Amazing.
Brilliant, aren't they? Fantastic.
Oh, they're gorgeous. All rainbow colours and everything. Yeah. But big shout out for knitted knockers out there if you're listening.
I think they're a charity. I might be lying, but I think they're a charity. So check out knitted knockers. Good name too.
Charity or not, they're very kind, very kind. They're very talented as well. I bet they can knock out a knocker in about. Just realised how that came out. I bet they can knock out a knitted knocker. Say that when you're pissed. In about a day, it would take me forever. Honestly, I can't knit to save my life anyway. So, what other funny stories have you got, Chloe?
So the other one was when I was in hospital. So the big op. So I couldn't, because you can't walk afterwards. So you have to learn how to walk again, and you're hobbling over like an 80-year-old granny because you can't stand up straight.
Holding your drains in either hand.
Yeah. So the kids had come to see me, but they couldn't come on the ward because there's risk of infection from under 12-year-olds. So they had a wheelchair waiting for me, and again trying to be like a bit, make it not as serious. So it's like, oh yeah, you can take turns in pushing mum in the wheelchair with my plastic bag sat on me with the drains coming out. So it was a good look. And then, so first there was the fight about who's going to get to push me first, obviously. And when they'd stopped that, they were just going so fast, Dan, swerving around hospital trolleys, like the porters are looking at me like everybody's looking a bit alarmed, and I'm going, trying to laugh. They were like finding it funny. And I was just there going, they're going to crash, and I'm going to end up on top of Bobby, who's just come out of his op, and I'm going to be there.
He's straight back in the operation. I actually had a very similar experience when I broke my ankle just after, COVID had finished. And then I went out, skidded in the bathroom, broke my ankle, and ended up in hospital for 2 weeks with kind of 11 screws and 2 plates. And I went down to my mum's. I cried, like, pick me up. So my brother picked me up, stayed at my mum's, and the kids came down and we went shopping. And it was all meant to be like, tea and cakes. And the kids pushed me outside Next in Bury St Edmunds up and down at 100 miles an hour. And I screamed my head off. And loads of people...
And you've got a foot like Metal Mickey as well, sticking out with all your screws.
So it is really scary. So,
you're setting off all them tag machines as you went past every shop.
Yeah.
Followed by security men that they couldn't catch my kids.
All security men had a C&A running after you. While you're doing 50 down the hill.
God, it is scary. But I would imagine having just had, surgery, that type of surgery. Oh my God, that must have been
fun with two drains.
I think I had about 4 at that point.
Oh my God.
I had it was a big plastic bag. Yeah, when the nurses came to take them all out before I went home, they were like, right, what we do is we get the end of the drain with the bag and we put it on the door handle of the ward, and then we just slam the door. What's out? I was like, and they're there wetting themselves laughing.
It's horrible when they pull the drain out, isn't it?
They're quite long as well, aren't they? They show me how far they were in. And it's dark, kind of non-see-through plastic, because the bit that you can see that with the blood going through, so you're attracted. And then the bit that's stuck in you is hard plastic. It's horrible. and it's that long.
I
It's like a
felt like they were
tapeworm.
sucking spaghetti out of my body when she was
Yeah.
pulling it out. You just go, like all your bones in your body go to mush, like
Yeah.
that horrible feeling. But
And you try, and you're there going, well, I've not cried so far, so I'm not gonna cry now. No, not while I've been through everything else.
You didn't cry? God, I did.
she
I
goes
had some-
swimming in -2-degree water. I'm not gonna cry.
No, you made a
I
tough
Also-
stuff up there, aren't you?
She's frozen
Yeah.
all her tear ducts.
We're all northerners, but we that was all
What's
good.
this story about you? About your undercarriage.
About my undercarriage. So this should have a safety warning on it. So after everything, like they say, yeah, we'll put you on tamoxifen, and to lower the risk and etc. etc. And like, apart from going absolutely fucking nuts for the first 3 months, like they were like, you might feel a bit depressed. I was a lunatic, like in tears and like, really angry, like nothing like you'd like, this is worse than the whole thing.
Brutal.
And then I had this, I don't know if you've ever seen that post about this woman put this post about a body wash making her bits just go on fire. That's basically what happened to me. So I'm like, this is not fun. So they'd said, you can't use hormonal gels because my cancer's hormone responsive. So, but you can use other gels, and you can use them. And I was like literally getting through tubes of the stuff every day, going, this is like, I'm on fire. So I went to the doctors, and the doctor sort of had a look, and she said, oh yeah, I think we need to get you to a gynecologist. And they call it it's something like, see, my mind's just gone. It's like a deteriorated vagina or
vaginal atrophy.
Atrophy, yeah, that's it. What a crazy shit word. Like, thanks. Everything else.
And for all those men out there, that means vaginal dryness.
Yeah. Severe atrophy. So I was like, oh, great. I would admit, had my exam. So, like when you have a smear, everything's off your bottom half, your legs are akimbo. She's having a good look there with a torch and everything. And she's like, oh, yeah, I can see it. Yeah, oh, yeah.
With her mining hat. Yeah.
Was there a Chilean mining up there as well?
Well, wishful thinking sometimes. Don't tell my husband. Oops. Yeah, so she starts having a chat about what we could do. And like, the basic outcome of it was like, you're just going to have to put up with it. But while we're having it, but this was a long conversation over about like 10, 15 minutes. And all the time I was lying there going, I went all British and went, well, I feel a bit rude interrupting her, but I've got no knickers on and I'm lying there. And then at the end, and when she sort of decided what treatment, she was like, oh yes, she can get dressed now. It's like, thanks. It's just like, not another thing, it's like,
cancer, the gift that keeps on giving, isn't it, really? Yeah.
Just when you don't expect it, another humiliation.
So what did they give you? Like, what do they do? Is it like a pack of layer pack or something? What could they give you?
So yeah, I've got like special gels and stuff that I can use, and pessaries, and so that makes me feel really attractive. And not.
You've got this, haven't you, Andrea? Haven't you got an element of it?
Yeah, it's very common.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's it's horrible. It's not nice to talk about, but it's not so. It's like when you have cancer, they don't tell you you're going to go through the menopause. Everything's an afterthought. Oh yeah, you might get lymphedema. But what's that? I think sometimes they focus on saving your life, but forget there's all these other things that are actually a nightmare for you. And that is a nightmare.
I mean, but that is the thing, isn't it? Breast cancer does leave you with all these mad legacy conditions. I mean,
thinning hair.
I'm glad I haven't got the burning box, put it that way.
The burning box, that's brilliant.
That's all right down there. But I've got plenty of other issues.
I think it could be a superpower, though. You've got your guns in your boobs and your burning box. I mean, you're a superhero already.
Yeah, no one's going to mess with me, are they?
You can either fire bullets out your boobs or flames out your fanny.
Perfect. It's like Marvel's next film, isn't it?
It is.
I'm
anyone-
cancer chick.
With BC written on it.
That's it. Get a cape with a big C on it. And it'll be the only superhero costume that's layered.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have to whip it off really quickly when you get hot blood.
Yeah.
In case you have a flush. Mid saving the world. You get
Yeah.
halfway through and go, hang on a minute, I'm awful born.
Yeah. Hold on.
He's
I've
just
gotta
taken
strip
out
off.
the solar system, with a hot flush.
Yeah, that's it. There's a book there. There's a comic there, isn't there?
There
Breast
is.
cancer girl, definitely.
I think we
Oh,
should do that. You've got your own publishing company, Estelle. Make it happen. Me and
Yeah,
me and
just-
Chloe will help you write it.
Yeah,
Well, you
absolutely.
two write it and I'll publish it. There you go. Well, Chloe can write the book. You're very arty. You were saying the other day that you go to some shop called, what is it?
Bonkers.
Bonkers, that was it. What a fabulous name for a shop. Everything for £1. So
Yeah.
you can draw all the pictures for £2.50.
Yeah.
Chloe's going to write the story and base it on
Perfect.
herself and her amazing bionic, whatever it is, body.
Bionic boobs. Yeah.
You have the power to rebuild her. And I'll publish it.
I think we should do it. I think we should make a pact now and do it.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, definitely.
I'll start my artwork
Yeah,
tonight.
every week Andrew sets us a challenge. And every week I ignore her, but she'll be in odd bins, not odd bins. I've got drink on my brain. You'll be in Bonkers tomorrow, won't you? Finding
And odd
cardboard
bins as well.
boxes and all
And
that.
Robins.
Oh, well, Chloe, you've been a great guest. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's
been-
lovely to meet
it's
you,
just
Chloe.
lovely.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Andrew.
Bye.
Yeah. All right. Bye. Bye.
Bye, Chloe. Thank you. Lovely to meet you.
So that was our lovely guest, Chloe Richards from Cheshire, I think it was, wasn't it? She must be
Yeah.
Cheshire if she's
Your neck of the woods, isn't it?
going to. Well, I'm the who's who in Cheshire. Apparently, I was in a magazine that said it. What's the who's who doing this month in Cheshire? There was
What's a
big
who to?
the who's who, and there was a picture of me looking all fabulous. So there you
Really?
go. Didn't realise I was the who's who. Yeah, I'm off to the Creme de la Creme Cheshire Awards as well this Friday.
Oh,
Yeah,
darling.
no, yes, haven't got a frock, but there you go. Turning up in a bin bag and trying to rock it like Vivian
You
Westwood.
will rock it, Estelle. You will. You're always at posh do's. I want to come to a posh do.
Well, come to this one if you like. Do you want to come to this one?
I might do. I've just got myself a new dress from Vinted. Yeah.
Oh, we love a bit of vintage.
Oh, I
don't
like
we?
Vinted.
I
Yeah.
like the way it's all nice and sustainable, all swapping clothes basically nationally.
Yes.
But yeah, she was a good guest today. And yeah, talking about the downside, should we say, the very downsides of some of these cancer legacy conditions. Yeah, some are better than others. I'm glad I haven't got that one, but I'm sure people are glad that they haven't got some of the conditions I've got, including a bad sense of humour and a penchant for drinking far too much Prosecco. But there you go.
So thank you very much for coming on, and thank you for listening. And Estelle, perhaps you'd like to tell everyone where they can find well, I know they know where they can find our podcast, but where we are.
Well,
How
every
they
week
can
we
reach
say
us.
where they can find the podcast. And you can find the podcast where you found this show. She's always tempted to say it, and now it's starting to become a habit.
Yes, it is a habit. That's why I'm making you do it this week, Estelle.
So
Now
this
you can
week-
see how hard it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know, it is. I'm all
yourself in my
fumbling all
shoes.
out for me words of that. I wasn't saying. Right, but if you do want to follow us anywhere, you can follow us on Facebook and you can follow us on Instagram, and that's Get It Off Your Chest, the funny side of breast cancer. You can also pop on our website if you want to come on the show. And yeah, and get in touch with us at stories@tittytowers.com.
And also, if you'd like to leave us a review, please do, because, we've got massive egos and we need to hear them. So please do, but only
Yeah.
if they're good.
Thank you very much, everybody, for listening. And until next time, stay healthy. Bye.
Bye.